the board early in this game, in the game last night. But really, when they went to the bullpen, it's been kind of a recurring theme for this club. And you look at the numbers, and again, these since May 1st, opponents hitting .207, that's second best, but they're best in baseball. ERA, strikeouts, limiting the on-base percentage, the slugging percentage, and that whip. You can win a lot of baseball games with that type of production. You take it a little further, last 3.5 weeks or so, the ERA 1.87. No one better, though, than Mike Feliz. Last 15 appearances, 0.75 the earned run average. Chris Davinsky had 3 1/3, a very strong innings in Texas the other day. Tony Sipp doing what he needs to do, able to get lefties out as well as righties. And what can you say about Will Harris? He's on a record pace right now. 26 consecutive scoreless appearances for the Astros bullpen. And again, talking with A.J. Hinch earlier today, he also talked about how much of a luxury it is having guys like Davinsky and having Feliz, guys that can pitch multiple innings out of the bullpen. And you could throw Scott Feldman into that mix as well, because Feldman, really a remarkable job. He'd much rather obviously be a starting pitcher, but that's not the way things working out right now. He's doing his part in that bullpen as well. But again, A.J. Hinch would love nothing better than to just limit it today, get all you can get out of Mike Fiers, and get away with a victory and square this series at a game apiece. Thanks, guys. All right.
This 3-game set, and we're bringing you inside the Ted Williams Hitters Hall of Fame. I'm with Jeff Blum in here, and we're checking out all the really cool displays they have here. It's behind center field at the Trop. This guy, though, every Astro fan knows, Craig Biggio, a Hall of Famer himself, guy with a lot of hits, over 3,000. When you're talking about good hitters, Jose Altuve comes to mind, right? Gets another multi-hit game. For you, what's it like watching Altuve play every day for the Astros?
It's been a blast, and 2013 was my first year being able to watch him play, because up until that point I was luckily still playing, but I watch him on a daily basis. I'm truly impressed. I knew he was a good hitter going in, but I didn't realize how well he got the barrel on the ball, and just created space on that field in order to get those base hits. He has quality at bats. We're seeing him evolve as a hitter throughout the years. Oddly enough, becoming a better hitter every single year, but it's truly a joy to watch him go out and master the craft of hitting.
Of course, a couple of years ago, getting that batting crown for him, and just the number of hits that he's put together in the past few years, a couple of 200-hit-plus seasons, up to 915 on his career, still young, only in his 6th season. What do you see from this guy? How far can he go?
That's the ultimate question, because you look at guys like Craig Biggio, Pete Rose, those guys have put up these astronomical numbers as far as hits are concerned, and the longevity that you have to play in this game is what is truly remarkable for guys like Craig. To put up that many hits on a consistent basis, knowing that other teams are aiming at you, trying to figure out your weaknesses, expose those weaknesses, adjustments from day to day. That's what's truly fun to watch. But for me, to understand how many hits Jose Altuve has to get to reach these milestones is truly astonishing to me. But he seems to be built for it. He seems to want it. He has the desire to continually evolve and become a better hitter. So, the sky's the limit for him, and his numbers match up with guys who are in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you mentioned he's built for it. He plays in a bunch of games. It's not like any days off. But to get to, Craig Biggio played how many years? 20 years.
Yeah.
And to get to more than 3,000 hits for him. So, that's a big part of it, too, being in that lineup every day.
Yeah, it's got to be in the lineup. That's what that longevity we're talking about. Not only do you have to have a contract, be on a big league roster, but you've got to be able to go out there every day and have 4 ABs. Playing 152 games a year is not easy, and that's the pace that Jose Altuve is on right now. It's just miraculous to see him go out there and continue to get these multi-hit games in order to put up just monster numbers.
We're talking about a couple of great hitters. Pete Rose is another, and we're going to talk about him more in game. Look forward to that from Blummer. Thanks so much for joining me down here. Stay tuned. First pitch is coming up from the Trop. Mike Fier is on the mound for the Houston Astros. We'll be back.
Florida, the fans making their way inside, and we welcome you in and for an afternoon of Houston Astros baseball as the Astros looking for win number 30 on the season. And here's the Astros starting lineup presented by Southwest Airlines as George Springer, the right fielder, will be leading it off, followed by Marwin Gonzalez, the shortstop. Jose Altuve is at second. He bats third. Colby Rasmus is the left fielder in the cleanup spot, followed by the 5-hitter Evan Gattis, the designated hitter today. The third baseman is Luis Valbuena batting sixth. Carlos Gomez back in the lineup. He's in center field batting seventh. Tyler White hits eighth. He's at first base. And the catcher, Jason Castro, who hit his 5th home run of the season last night, will bat ninth. And that lineup will face hard-throwing Chris Archer, the 27-year-old from Clayton, North Carolina, gets the start.
He's got incredible numbers against the Houston Astros, and I'm going to completely avoid those and let you know that first inning has been a real issue for Chris Archer. 9.69 ERA in that first inning.
And what you just saw right there, important for Archer. Strike one of his 3 career complete game shutouts. 2 have come against the Astros. That was foul tipped into the glove. 0-2.
Chris Archer's had issues with that fastball command, falling behind quite a bit this season, which has led to some of the inflated numbers that you're going to see. He's tied for 3rd in the American League with giving up 14 home runs.
That one fouled back. George Springer, you saw the numbers, 276, 14 home runs, 37 runs batted in. Hit that 14th home run on this road trip to lead off the game a couple of days ago in Arlington. It's the middle game of a 3-game series between the Astros and the Tampa Bay Rays. Astros trying to snap a 6-game losing streak here at Tropicana Field. That's outside a ball. Archer can bring some heat. His fastball clocked in the mid-90s. Getting ahead early in the count, important for him, so he can work that slider, and that one fouled off down the right side. Archer was a 2015 All-Star. 5th round pick of the Indians in 2006. He was traded to the Cubs and then traded here to Tampa Bay from Chicago. Made his debut as a Ray. The 1-2 to Springer. Hit hard to right field. And a great diving catch by Steven Souza. Absolutely robbed George Springer.
Absolute laser off the bat of George Springer. Good swing on it going the other way. Just got robbed.
What a catch.
What's crazy about that dive is that ball was by him when he caught it. That's how hard that ball was hit.
Chris Archer's thinking, man, may have gotten away with one there. That'll bring up Marwin Gonzalez, a 241 hitter. See the numbers, 4 home runs, 13 runs batted in. Much better here in the month of June, hitting .303. And Marwin jumps on the first pitch, lifts this one to right field, and another running catch by Steven Souza. 2 away.
It's good to see Souza is nice and loose before this game started because he's being tested here in the first 2 guys.
Archer thinks it's funny. Springer and Gonzalez, I don't think so.
Talk about first pitch strikes. Last year, Chris Archer effective with it, but a pretty substantial drop off here in 2016.
Well, here is Jose Altuve. Hitting .340. 3 straight multi-hit games for Jose. Had 2 more knocks last night. Fouls that one back. See the Astros aggressive early in the count.
I think that has a lot to do with the fact they know that Chris Archer is going to try and establish that fastball to get ahead in these counts so he can go to those secondary pitches.
Oh, 2. Dan Bellino is behind the plate, calling the balls and strikes. But Fagan is at first. Tom Hallion, the second base umpire, and Phil Cuzzy is at third. 0-2 with 2 outs. A ball and 2 strikes. Just underway here in Tampa Bay. Actually in St. Petersburg. Come to you from Tropicana Field.
It's like saying the Angels are in LA.
Altuve gets that one foul. He's 450 on the road trip. For people to get to watch him day in and day out, he just spoils you.
He does.
1-2 pitch. That's low.
There's a couple guys around the league that if you're walking by a TV set and you see them in the batter's box, you're going to stop and watch. This right here, Jose Altuve, is one of those guys for me. Oh, goodness.
439 since May 28th. Altuve spoils the pitch there. Astros lost last night here 4-3. Left the bases loaded in the 9th inning. Lost by a run. Another close game. They left 11 in last night's game. Tampa did all its scoring early. They scored all 4 runs in the first 2 innings. Astros got it close but couldn't seal the deal. They lost 4-3. Rays now won 6 straight over Houston here at Tropicana Field. That was fouled back again, 2-2.
Pretty good battle going on. Altuve fouling off some pitches. Tough pitches from Chris Archer. Only pitch I don't think we've seen is that changeup that Archer does have. But in order for him to be effective, he's got to be fastball slider against these right-handers.
Altuve hits that one to third. Longoria, it's a foul ball. A.J. Hinch talked about the fact that Archer's Achilles heel this season has been really his command of the fastball. So you can see that the Astros have been aggressive early in the count, and I guess that's basically saying don't let him get ahead. That way it gets him to the slider, which is where he wants to get.
Yes, he does. Staying away on that strike zone. Brought to you up by M.D. Anderson.
3-2. So after falling behind 0-2, count now goes full. Got him swinging. Astros go down 1-2-3 in the first. Tampa Bay coming to bat. Brad Miller and Evan Longoria, the top third in the order for Kevin Cash's club. Logan Morrison, Steve Pearce, who had 3 hits last night. He bats 5th, followed by Corey Dickerson, Souza, Jennings, and Casale rounding out Tampa Bay's lineup today. Mike Fiers will be facing them.
He is a Miami, Florida. He's from Miami, Florida. I apologize. Went to Nova Southeastern University. Has never pitched against the Tampa Bay Rays until he throws his first pitch here. Making his 13th start on the season. Went 5 1/3 last time out at Texas. Actually had a great start before that at home against Arizona, where he went 6 innings, gave up 1 earned run, had 7 punch-outs.
There's Logan Forsythe to lead it off. That's in there for a strike.
There's a great note on Fiers, and he's walked 2 batters or less in his last 12 starts. Good command guy.
Last started on Monday in Texas in a 6-5 loss. Went 5 1/3 in that one. That's upstairs. 30 years old. He started a game in Miami against the Marlins, but he's never started one here. Two and 1. Forsythe went 2 for 4 last night. For a first-round pick of the Padres back in 2008. Last night got those couple of hits coming off the disabled list for the first time since early May. Hits that one to center field. Cracked pretty good, but Carlos Gomez has a bead and makes the play on the warning track. Gave up 4 earned runs and 8 hits in those 5 1/3 on Monday against the Rangers. Now he'll face Brad Miller. Top of the order, did some damage for Tampa Bay last night. And again, Tampa took advantage of a situation where Evan Longoria was called out on a double play in that first inning. They reviewed it, or the second inning, beg your pardon. Now this one hit over to the right side. Take it to the bag, make it look easy. Tyler White goes unassisted. You know, Fiers didn't get over and cover the other day. He was going to make sure that that wasn't going to be a problem again.
Yeah, I'm sure he already knew that process, but probably had a little bit of a talk with A.J. Hinch, Brent Strom. One of the mistakes that was made in that Rangers series that the Rangers capitalized on.
Evan Longoria's 11-game hitting streak came to an end last night, but still hitting .344 this month. 275 hitter, 14 home runs. 5 of those coming in the last 7 games. This is there. Longoria hit the home, or would be what was originally called a home run, up onto the catwalk. And then they reviewed it and made the proper call, called it foul. A couple pitches later, he hit into a double play. Now 3-0.
The off speed and the 2-0 count, nobody on.
Longoria, good fastball hitter. Walked him on 4 pitches.
It was uncharacteristic.
Yeah, when you take into consideration the note you just read a minute ago. He does not walk many.
Might have been why A.J. Hinch was staring out there to see if there was anything wrong with Mike Fiers. That is something you don't see too often. Walks are rare, but 4-pitch walks have got to be even more rare for Mike Fiers.
He's not walked more than 2 in any of his starts this season. That one right back at us.
It's all right, you can come back out from underneath the desk.
Okay. Just flinched a little.
You're making me nervous up here, man.
Why? Staying loose, man.
Juking on everything.
Logan Morrison hitting here with 2 outs. Longoria with a 2-out walk right back up the middle. Fiers should make this easy, and we're through an inning. Scoreless here in St. Pete. Lexus, the new 2016 Lexus ES and ES Hybrid. It's next level luxury. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Now back here at Tropicana Field, we are scoreless as we go to the second inning. Colby Rasmus will lead it off here in the second. With Jeff Blum and Julia Morales, Kevin Eschenfelder sitting in for Alan Ashby. Still on the mend. Be back soon. That's in for a strike. Only a 225 hitter with those 8 home runs. Nearly 300 against Chris Archer. Takes 0-2.
Almost looked like it was an auto take.
Colby had a tough at-bat last night in the 9th, but did have 2 hits. That's outside a ball.
Well, that pitch right there is the reason he had a tough night last night. First pitch in that at-bat in the 9th inning against Coleman, he was put similar position on that fastball, was called a strike. That's a tough way to start out.
2 for 5 last night here. The 1-2. Rasmus hits that on the right side. 3-1 put out is complete.
That might have been the changeup. Talked about Chris Archer throwing hard. He's averaging 94 on his fastball on the season. That changeup comes in there 87 to 88 miles an hour.
The ERA uncharacteristically high for Chris Archer. You see Evan Gattis, 226 hitter. Hitting just 186 against right-handed pitcher.
There's some interesting numbers with Chris Archer this season. It's a good look at it. Comparison to 2015 to 2016. Whip climbing up there 1.5, but the opponent batting average jumping 40 points, and right-handers are having a lot of success against him too.
This time last year, that one hit into center field. Coming on is Desmond Jennings, and he makes the play.
We're going to take a look at our forward spray chart with Luis Valbuena coming up to the plate. Been swinging the bat well of late. These are his numbers against right-handed pitchers since May 24th, when he's had that average jump a little bit, pulling 11 of those hits. See, going the other way. I know it's not a lot of pitches going the other way, but it's good to see him going over there every once in a while, more often than not in a 2-strike count. But he's definitely one of those guys with that hot zone being on the outside corner. He likes to get around it and hook those.
Fouled back 0-1. Valbuena's very strong series in Arlington. We're going to continue that here on the road trip. 241 for the season, but a 300 hitter, better than a 300 hitter here in June. That misses. 1-1.
And some of those numbers I was going to hint at were strikeouts per 9 inning. Chris Archer is first in the American League at 10.95 per 9 innings. Yet he is 4th in the American League in walks, 34.
Valbuena on the ground. And we're through an inning and a half. Scoreless, Houston and Tampa Bay.
score between the Astros and the Rays. Kick off your weekends at Minute Maid Park with the best fireworks show in town. The next Friday Night Fireworks Spectacular is a Star Wars themed show on Friday, June 17th. For more information, visit astros.com/fireworks or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Mike Fiers back to work here, and this Astros team are their best whenever this rotation is stable, and they're going to need Mike Fiers in order to do that. He's been struggling at times. This is a big start for him too, hoping to get deep into the games, but he's had some difficult moments, and a lot of it has to do with that command, really struggling when he falls behind. So that's key for him today, guys.
It's his 21st start since putting on an Astros uniform. Julian coming over from the Milwaukee Brewers. Steve Pearce, the former once upon a time Astro, 2012, played 21 games for the Astros. He was a tough out last night. Had doubles in his first 2 at-bats on a 3-hit night. Pulled a string there. Really made that first appearance after coming over from Milwaukee. It was a tough appearance. It was one of those where things weren't going well at Arlington, and he came in relief. There's a good breaking ball in for a strike. He gets Pearce looking.
Take that.
Look at this one again.
Those first 2 pitches on the outside corner were same pitches. One called a strike. That one up and in. Never really got back to the zone. Nice.
A little payback for strike 1 last night in the 9th inning on Colby Rasmus. Here's Corey Dickerson. A struggle for him at the plate, but he made a big play last night in the outfield. Had an outfield assist in the first inning as he threw out George Springer at the plate. And that's what Julia talked about just a minute ago, is getting ahead in the count.
Well, we always talk about scouting reports that hitters have. We talk about how pitchers have their scouting meetings trying to figure out how to attack the opposing team. There's also comments made by players. They know exactly what these umpires are going to do and what their tendencies are. Do they give you a little bit off the edges? Or do they have a good hitter's count or a hitter's strike zone? You can lay off some pitches on the edges because they won't be called. It all goes into the ball game. Just more numbers to crunch, more things for the hitters to process.
And at the end of the day, you see the baseball and you hit it, or try to.
At least you hope so.
Yeah.
Try and get that one mistake in at bat that you can hit.
The 0-2, it's outside. Well, Dickerson last night, the play he made, obviously in a 1-run game, turned out to be huge. Didn't know it at the time, but really did his work before getting to the baseball. Wasn't a great throw, but he's got to the baseball quickly enough. That's what made this play.
Yeah, I think it was a combination of how hard Altuve hit that ball, therefore it got to Dickerson in a hurry. But he got rid of it quickly and got that throw to Hank Conger to have it in time to tag George Springer.
Foul back. Count remains 1-2. 1 out here in the 2nd inning.
And it's an extremely aggressive move by Gary Pettis to send George Springer home. He wasn't even to third base when Dickerson had that ball. So he was taking a chance that Dickerson wasn't going to have that throw on line.
To the rollover on that one, 1-2.
This is not a good throw. Kind of bounced off one of the rings up at the top of the roof, but it landed in the right spot.
I thought Conger was going to wave his arm and call for a fair catch. Hey, it was effective.
That's all that matters, the result.
Didn't get any style points, but it was effective. Gets this one into center field. Carlos Gomez over a few steps, and there's 2 away.
Fiers early on doing a good job of changing speeds.
More than I've seen him in a lot of his starts. It's really noticeable here. He's working the fastball, then taking several miles per hour off.
Yeah, that good changeup. He's really, recent starts, been that fastball, curveball type guy. But that split finger changeup, been a good pitch for him here early on.
Steven Souza Jr., the number 7 hitter in the Rays lineup today, made a couple of outstanding defensive plays in the 1st inning. Strike 1.
But what makes those pitches effective is that right there, getting ahead early.
one yanked down the left field line. Fair ball and a ground rule double as the ball bounces up over the fence. As you can see, it fence much lower there in that corner before it goes up where the stands start. And the ground rule double, first hit of the game. Says, hey, who wants it?
He's got better things to do. I think that was a changeup. You see where Castro was set up. Just didn't really finish the pitch, flattened out. Good spot for Souza to hit it.
He's on the phone.
That's some multitasking going on there.
He's got his burger. He's got the phone call working.
Man.
Hold on a second. I got to catch this.
Jack of all trades.
Makes the play. Finds a kid to toss the baseball to. There's Desmond Jennings with a runner on second and 2 outs. Tampa Bay had 4 doubles in last night's game.
It seemed like they all came with runners on and 2 outs. Wow,
that was it. It's interesting.
Well, at least he hit his target.
Yes, he did. Look at Altuve.
I'm actually pretty impressed Mike Fiers spun on the pickoff and actually threw a strike to Altuve, who's not even close to the bag. Because if he'd have thrown that right at the bag, Carlos Gomez is picking that ball up.
Oh, easy. And hoping that Souza Jr. is not going to score.
Yeah, that would have been like a base hit to center.
Jennings swings through that one. 1-1. Watch this again.
Looked like a set play, and everybody was in on it except Altuve.
Altuve the other day, playing 2 days ago, played shortstop for the first time in his career. And on a stolen base attempt, no one covered. Altuve says, well, you know, I forgot I wasn't playing second base.
Yeah, he thought the shortstop was going to cover. Little did he know he was the shortstop.
He looked over for Correa. By the way, Carlos Correa walking around today, feeling much better. So it's a matter of time before he is back. And honestly, we don't know exactly when he will be back, but you get the feeling it won't be too far down the road. Steven Souza leads off from second base. It's a tough hack by Desmond Jennings. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs were in the second. There's Carlos. Turned that ankle over when he stepped on first base the other day in Arlington.
And it's good to know. Tony Kemp knows he's on TV. But it's good to know that Carlos is up, moving around, took some hacks today, doing a little bit of running.
This one on the right side, Tyler White drifting over, makes the play, and that'll retire the side. Rays get a hit, they leave a man. We're through 2, scoreless.
Enjoy a picnic buffet in Minute Maid Park outfield with your favorite Astros Sunday, June 19th. Picnic in the Park presented by Wells Fargo and includes an autograph session and family-friendly activities. For tickets, visit astros.com/picnic. You guys were talking about Carlos Correa today. Did say he felt much better today than he did yesterday. Right when he woke up, could tell that he was walking around a little bit better, and today getting some running in, said he was going about 60%. He hit inside the cage, was hoping to take some grounders, and then he got out there for BP too. So more likely that he could be available off the bench today. It's killing him that he's done out there with his teammates. But again, that day off on Monday, there's a chance that he will not play again tomorrow, just to back it up with a couple more days off. So he'll be even more fresh in that St. Louis series, guys.
Yeah, which starts on Tuesday. Julia, thank you. 0-2, and I think that's the first time we've seen Archer go 0-0 with a slider to start it bat.
I think Chris Archer's seen a lot of tape and got a good scouting report on Carlos Gomez, who we know is extremely aggressive, swings at the first pitch a lot in these at-bats, but obviously with some of the swings, you can tell he's sitting on first pitch fastball, therefore Archer going to that off speed.
Strike three, got him looking on 3 pitches.
And it was all set up by that off-speed pitch to start. Good fastball, not extremely well located. Faced a lot of 2-strike counts in my career. And my mentality in 2 strikes was always to sit on that fastball away and hopefully adjust to everything else. Just did not want to get beat by a fastball in a 2-strike count. I was going to make him make the pitcher get to his secondary pitches to put me away.
How long did it take you to get comfortable hitting with 2 strikes? No, you maybe never were.
I was going to say, depended on who was on the mound.
Yeah, exactly. So, but when you came to the big leagues, would you find yourself thinking, man, I can't get behind in the count?
Yes, I made a concerted effort to be really aggressive early in the count, but I played in a day when pitchers saw a rookie at the plate, and they were very aggressive with the fastball. They were going to try and challenge young hitters with the fastball and see if they could hit it. Once you proved to them that you could hit the fastball, then they would go to the secondary pitches, but they weren't going to waste much time with the junk, because they felt that sometimes those guys had slower bat speeds. They wanted to see if you had the quick bat speed to hit the fastball.
3-1 to Tyler White. This is North Carolina on North Carolina. Fouled into the seats.
Have you tried to track the ball when it goes up?
I had no idea where that baseball was.
Yeah, because we got the day game today. There's sun's out, it looks like. So that roof turns a different color. It's much brighter today. There you get a good look at it. Ball blends in quite nicely. The reason I asked you that is because I lost that one too.
It went above us and saw it off the bat for a moment, but not for long. Now, Torrey Hunter talked about playing at the Metrodome. He said playing center field, the key in the Metrodome, which I would imagine was a similar surface as far as
it was similar, but it was, believe it or not, it was worse.
Yeah. But said you just never look away. In a lot of places, you run to a spot where you think the ball is, then you find the baseball. You never take your eye off the ball in a setting like this. That is a called strike 3. Third strikeout of the game and second of the inning for Chris Archer.
Houston Methodist brings us our league leaders. AL catcher ranked since May 1st. And on base percentage, Castro does a good job of working those counts, working those walks. Slugging percentage, we saw a home run last night from Jason Castro. The average has jumped up. So are the power numbers, driving in some runs, trying to help out that bottom third of the order, trying to turn things over to get it back to the top of the lineup.
Castro swings through that one. Home run last night was his 5th. A .216 hitter. He's got 17 runs batted in. That misses a ball. 1-1.
It's that home run from last night. Jason Castro.
Ball was kissed.
Yeah, it was. Got everything behind it on that one. 2-run jack after a Valbuena base hit for an RBI. 3 runs in that inning with that home run.
1-2. The Astros got their runs last night. Tyler White with an RBI single after Valbuena had doubled, and then a couple of batters later, it was a 2-run home run by Jason Castro. Had the bases loaded, had runners at second and third, with nobody out in the ninth inning, but couldn't score. It was with one out, I beg your pardon, with one out in the ninth inning, he couldn't score. There's a swing and a miss. Archer strikes out the side, runs his scoreless streak against the Astros to 18 2/3 innings.
Into the bottom of the third inning. And a reminder, as you enjoy a Colt, one to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. And enjoy yourself some highlights. That was at Yankee Stadium. That was a combined no-hitter by 6 Houston Astros pitchers. 2003. Watch Bagwell's reaction after this play. He's just making a play, finishing off a game. Billy Wagner goes nuts, and Baggy looked at him like, "What's wrong with you, man?" Until he looked up on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Jeff Kent had no idea. No idea.
That was hilarious.
That ended a streak for the Yankees of 6,980 games in which they had not been no hits. You had to go all the way back to Hoyt Wilhelm, who did it a long time, 1958. It was a long streak the Yankees had gone without being no hit.
That was an incredible game.
Well, Roy left. He got hurt. He left.
That was the beginning of the groin issues that Roy was having. He came out of that game after like an inning and a third or something like that. And then it was just all hands on deck, and they dealt.
Pete Monroe, Kurt Sarlos. Then it was Lidge, Dotel, and Wagner.
You see Sarlos, pitching coach for TCU.
Absolutely. Kurt Casale gets hit by the pitch, and now he's on to lead off here in the third inning. Casale getting his start today behind the plate.
It was a curveball that did not curve at all. Stayed on that inside corner. Casale, we're talking about NCAA. Just left his elbow out over there.
Well, that's what you want if you're the leadoff man. Doesn't matter how you get on. Did his job. Leadoff man in the inning in the 9-hitter. That's the last thing Mike Fiers wanted to do, as it brings up the top of the order, and Logan Forsythe flied out in the first inning. Fouled out to the right side. We're scoreless here in the bottom of the third inning. Astros and the Tampa Bay Rays. Houston trying to snap a 6-game losing streak here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Road trip started with the Astros losing 3 out of 4 in Texas, then moved over here to St. Pete. Lost last night 4-3. This is the middle game of a 3-game series. And the longest road trip of the season for the Astros. After those 4 in Texas, you have 3 here, and then a day off, and then 2 more in St. Louis. Hit back up the middle, could be 2. Altuve steps on the bag, throws over, and gets his man. And Forsythe grounds into the double play.
Hit that one right into the shift. Altuve and the rest of the Astros defense except Tyler White on that left side of the infield. Right at Altuve, scoops it up.
This is the first time he has induced a double play ball from a right-handed hitter this season.
How about that? Fires is a fly ball type pitcher. Well, those numbers are a little skewed. Last year was pretty even. 39% ground ball rate and a 37% fly ball rate. This year it's shifted greatly. 45% ground ball rate as opposed to 27% with that fly ball.
A well-timed double play. And let's be clear, there's no such thing as one that's not. That ball is crushed to right and gone. Brad Miller is 6th home run of the year, and the Rays are on the board 1-0.
Just went down and got that.
Ball was down in the zone, wasn't it?
I just went down and hit that nice solid 2-iron out of here.
Well, the double play ball looks even sweeter now. Longoria cranks this one to center. Gomez a few steps back. He'll make the play shy of the track. So the Rays get a 2-out solo home run from Brad Miller and take a 1-0 lead.
You know, I can't even explain how much help he's really been the time that I've been up here. You know, ever since, you know, I got to talk to him, you know, a couple years ago in spring training, he's always been that guy that, you know, I don't want to bother him too much and get on his nerves. I know he has a job to do, but it's cool when he comes and talks to me about the game. So just being a sponge, soaking up everything I can with every opportunity, and it's fun to be on this team. There's a lot of good guys that, you know, bring a lot of energy and a lot of fun to the clubhouse.
Guys, that's our Geico quote of the day. That's Tony Kemp, who's been taking advantage of the time he's had when he's not in the lineup. Learning from guys like George Springer and Jose Altuve, who have been here and had success up here, especially Altuve. Really interesting, though, is they sat here yesterday in between innings. Altuve using his arms, trying to really explain a couple of different things to Tony Kemp during the game, and they were watching who was on the mound. It was just really interesting to see Altuve in that teaching role, helping out a teammate.
Yeah, and Tony Kemp talking about, you know, the old reason why you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and he just sits here, he takes it all in and really absorbing and learning about hitting from a guy like Jose Altuve. You just never know when you're going to have that opportunity, that luxury to be able to sit with him between innings and talk hitting, how much you can learn. So George Springer, the first hit of the game for the Astros.
That's a big part of baseball. That's a big part of extending your career and sticking around a little bit too, because there is so much information being shared down there between teammates, but then you get to hang around a guy who is striving every day for greatness like Altuve and has put up the numbers he has. Those are guys you want to be near.
Here's a pitch to Marwin. He takes that one. I'll take that story a step further. Our buddy Steve Sparks, when he played with the Angels, he said he would go and listen, wouldn't say a word, but he would go down to the cage and listen to Rod Carew teach hitting. He thought, if I'm going to be trying to get these guys out, I want to know what they're thinking. And he said, just went down there, I would take my lunch and just listen to the approach and what he was telling these guys about hitting. He said, you know, hey, that could help me as a pitcher.
No, I think that's good.
Marwin hits that one high in the air, and that's another one. See if they can make a play on this. Nope, it'll be in the stands. Logan Morrison came over, but it's about 3 rows up. Boy, it is hard to see a baseball in here.
Yeah, it's not fun. Then you've got all the elements up there too, trying to figure out if it's going to ricochet off something.
Tony Kemp. Last night, a huge at-bat for him. I mean, what a great at-bat that he had when he drew that leadoff walk in the 9th inning against Alex Colomé. Marwin up the middle. That gets through a base hit. Back-to-back hits for the Astros, and Houston has runners at first and third with nobody out.
Jack in the Box is going to take us inside the box score with Jose Altuve coming up. And here you get to look at a couple of legends with somebody on the left who's trying to become one. These are through 731 career games you're looking at. Altuve at the age of 26, similar in age with Pete Rose. Look at the number of hits. He has 200 more hits than Craig Biggio had at that same point in his career. Just to give you an idea of where his career is pushing towards. Pretty incredible stuff to look at. But again, longevity in those two guys on the right, staying healthy, staying in the lineup, continuing to get 700 plus at bats per year. Those are tough things to do, but Altuve right now is on pace.
That's low to Altuve. And, you know, Craig had, what, 19 seasons, and guys like Pete Rose, 24 years. It's amazing to look at the Nolan Ryan's 27 seasons. You go back and look at the numbers on Willie Mays and Hank Aaron and guys like that, that if they stayed healthy, they played for a quarter of a century.
It's hard to imagine. And you just wonder if that's possible this day and age.
Well, first and third with nobody out. Rays leading 1-0 on a Brad Miller solo home run, and Archer steps off.
Talk about longevity. You saw the numbers right there. Altuve ahead of the pace that Pete Rose was on.
It's crazy.
But in order for Altuve to catch Pete Rose, 176 hits in the next 19 seasons.
It's outside. Marwin almost caught in no man's land. And we were drawing all kinds of parallels and putting it in perspective. Remember that the Astros have had 3 200-hit seasons in their history.
Yep.
3 200-hit seasons. And well, 4,000 hits. Simple math tells you that's takes one guy to have 22 200-hit seasons.
And Altuve's got 2 of those 3 in the Astros history.
Altuve hits this one to right center field. That'll be enough to get George Springer home and tie this game. And Marwin fakes going to second, so Springer scores and we are tied. Sacrifice fly, Jose Altuve, his 38th run batted in, ties this game at 1.
Please tell me I'm not the only one relieved that the Astros drove in a runner from third base less than 2 outs. They have had issues with that all season long, but Altuve up there knows how to handle the stick, understanding that he's up there looking to get a ball that he can drive to the outfield to get Springer in. This one plenty deep enough. Hanging off speed pitch from Chris Archer.
There's one thing to understanding the situation. There's another thing to understanding it and having the talent to execute.
Yep. You hear that word a lot in baseball, execution. Are you able to execute what you are trying to do?
Colby Rasmus swinging a miss. Colby a different approach in this at-bat after falling behind 0-2 in his first AB.
Colby's not a guy that's going to let too many fastballs go by in the strike zone. He likes to hit the heater.
That's outside. Springer, the leadoff single here in the fourth. After Archer had retired the first 9 men he faced, it was making it look easy. He struck out 4 of the first 9 men he faced. Perfect through 3. Gave up back-to-back hits to start things in the fourth. And a sacrifice fly by Jose Altuve has made it a 1-1 ball game. It's outside. Look, Archer got double clutched.
But I got to give credit to Dan Bellino. I think he's got a good edge on that outside corner. We've seen pitches earlier in this game called just a little bit off the edge, but holding his ground right there, allowing Colby to get back in this count.
The 2-1. Colby hits that one high to right field. I'm not sure if they knew where this one was. And he finally comes in and makes the play. Steven Souza, I mean, that was almost a panic at one point. Did you see? I don't think he saw that ball off the bat.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of funny. You look up into this stagnant roof, nothing moving, and you're waiting for that one glimpse of the baseball moving across. You know who that makes it tough on is base runners.
Find out exactly.
Because you got to go halfway. You don't want to get thrown out at second base. If he doesn't realize where it's at, it falls.
Here's Evan Gattis. What a tough road trip for Evan. He did 224 for the season. Popped out to the second baseman. Swing and a miss there.
He's swinging a hot bat until he put on that gray uniform.
Yeah, he had that home run where homered in 3 straight games at Minute Maid Park. Was it 4 out of 5 at one point?
Yep.
Wow, look at that.
Game of adjustments.
What do they say? Best pitch any pitcher throws, strike 1. He's done it 83% of the time today. Byers has allowed a solo home run. Archer has allowed a run here in the fourth. We're tied at 1. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Swing and a miss, he got him. They'll throw down, complete the strikeout, but the Astros get a run back on a couple of hits and leave a man. We're tied at 1.
Astro poll. Make sure to get on Twitter. Vote at Root Sports SW on the Twitter page. It's the pinned tweet. How many hits will Jose Altuve get in his career? He's close to 1,000 now. He's not right there, but he's getting there. 2,000, 3,000, 3,500, or will he break Pete Rose's record, 4,256 hits? And how long would it take him to get there, guys? I know Blummer knows the numbers.
Yeah, that Pete Rose number is. I'll keep saying it because I have a hard time wrapping my head around it. But 176 hits in the next 19 seasons. Altuve will be 45 when he gets to that mark.
That went a bullet back up the middle. And Marwin was right there, positioned absolutely perfectly.
What year would that be?
19 years from now?
Yeah.
It's a big number.
I thought they said there would be no math. 2035, right?
Will we still be tweeting at that time, or will it be something else?
Yeah, just through telepathy.
I hope to be breathing then.
Oh, come on. You're in great shape. Ran 3.5 miles today in this sweltering heat.
Steve Pearce down the left field line. Rasmus will get it in, but not before Pearce has his 3rd double of the series.
Slider that just backs up as you see it on our Supermo, brought to you by Mattress Firm, and just a cement mixer down the middle, and Stevie Pearce just doing what he does against the Astros. Another double.
Had 3 hits last night. Again, the 2 two-base hits last night. That's his now 1 for 2 today. Corey Dickerson flied out in the 2nd inning. Rays have the lead man in scoring position with 1 out here in the 4th. Right back up the middle. And Marwin is right there. Talk about positioning. Steps on the bag, catches the line drive, and the threat is over. Mike Fiers said just how we had it planned. Double play ends it here in the 4th in a 1-1 game. On as we go to the top of the 5th inning here on Star Wars Day in St. Petersburg, Florida. Watch this. That was disconcerting right there.
Yeah, that's not a comfortable feeling right there. Little Darth Maul hanging over your shoulder.
There's your bobblehead. Chris Archer, Star Wars bobblehead day.
Oh yeah, Princess Leia. She showed up. It's always good to have some extra security around.
Chris Archer working here in the 5th inning.
You know what those guys are called?
Stormtroopers.
Yeah, you got it. Attaboy.
Boom. I'm done. You finish up.
Oh, I love it. I was a little worried after you said you hadn't seen any of the movies.
I was worried when you started asking me a question. I knew it was going to be about Star Wars.
I should have asked you who snuck up on Julia.
No clue.
And I said it. You don't remember what I said?
Folks at home couldn't hear me shake my head no. Valbuena hits this one to left center field. Desmond Jennings going back on the track and makes the catch. It's Darth Maul. That's who it is.
The impending doom.
I don't like him. I don't.
It was a little spooky.
That is not nice.
He wouldn't break character, and that really worried me. So I'm out. Not a fan.
Yeah, these Star Wars folks take their job seriously.
Where was Chewie to save me in that moment?
Are you a Star Wars fan?
I'm not like Blummer.
Look at that.
Oh my.
That's awesome.
Steve Sparks.
I appreciate Star Wars.
That's good stuff right there.
Chewbacca was big. Steve Sparks hung up on his mother to get into that picture.
That doesn't shock me at all.
Carlos Gomez takes ball 2. 2 balls and a strike with 1 out. I wanted to take the picture with Chewbacca. Sparky goes, let me get in there. We walk away, come back to the booth. He goes, man, I just hung up on my mother. I went foul back. 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're in the 5th inning. Chris Archer mowed him down in the first 3 innings. He was perfect through 3. Then the Astros had back-to-back singles to start the 4th inning. Springer and Marwin Gonzalez. And then Springer would score on an Altuve sacrifice fly. Rays have gotten their 1 run on Brad Miller's 5th home run of the season, make it the 6th home run of the season. That was back in the 3rd inning. Gomez grounds this one right at Miller. Guns it across. There's 2 outs.
Faith and Family Night presented by Chick-fil-A is back on Saturday, June 18th. Christian musician Brandon Heath performs a post-game concert, and Colby Rasmus and his wife Megan will share faith testimonies. For more information, visit astros.com/faith or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Tyler White 0 for 1. He struck out back in the 3rd inning, as did everyone who batted in the 3rd inning. Archer just dominant to start this game. The Astros got to him in the 4th. It's in there for a strike at 95 miles per hour. Archer was an all-star in 2015. Last 3 seasons with Tampa, he's had a sub 3.5 ERA. Been a very good pitcher for this team. He had his struggles early here in 2016, but pitched well last time out against Arizona. That was his last start, despite giving up a home run to Robbie Ray, the Arizona Diamondback pitcher. One to Tyler White. Fouled off. Saw Tyler White's dad up in the stands a little while ago. Has family here from North Carolina to see him play. The crowd started to get into it. 1-2 with 2 outs. Two. Archer's a very active young man here in the community. A real crowd favorite, too, among Tampa Bay Ray fans. He and Evan Longoria are really the faces of this franchise.
A couple of good guys to have.
Yeah.
Archer got a chance to do some broadcasting in the playoffs last year. Did a great job, too. Very well spoken.
Yeah, extremely intelligent young man. What a nasty pitch, but Tyler White, to his credit, was able to lay off. 3-2.
Tyler White's got an interesting swing to me just in watching him this season for the first time and on a daily basis. Starts with that open stance, really doesn't close it back up.
It's that one to Miller. Throws across, and that'll retire the side. Halfway through here in St. Petersburg, a 1-1 game.
By authority of Houston Astros, LLC, and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Houston Astros, LLC.
Back here in St. Petersburg for the Astros and Tampa Bay Rays tied at 1. Kevin Eschenfelder, Jeff Blum with you upstairs. Julia Morales down on the field. To throw across, and there's one away here in the 5th. Steven Souza Jr. grounding out to the shortstop. Marwin Gonzalez. Rays won the opener of this series last night. Astros trying to bounce back and tie this series at a game apiece. This is the middle game of a 3-game weekend set. Desmond Jennings fouled out back in his first at bat in the 2nd inning. Mike fires in his 5th inning of work. It's in there for a strike, 1-1. Fires facing the Tampa Bay Rays for the first time in his career. It's outside. Jennings was able to pull the bat back. College in Fort Lauderdale. 30-year-old making his 13th start of the season.
We talked about his first start against Tampa Bay. He's never faced the Orioles or the Brewers. Kind of interesting.
Man, I would have asked on that one quick, and then they do. You know, usually there's such a delay as far as asking. I think the only reason Castro delayed so much in asking is he thought the home plate umpire would have called that a strike himself.
Well, I think he would have just called it on the pitch itself too. It looked like a borderline pitch on that inside corner, but eventually they get it right.
Get the appeal. It's 2-2. There's strike 3. Well, Jennings caught looking, and there's 2 away here in the 5th.
That was a rough sequence of 2 pitches right there, man.
Second strikeout for Fiers.
So good to see a pitch out of the hand. You see that rotation, creating that slide action. Locked up. Jennings on that one.
Number 9 hitter, Kurt Casale, who was hit by a pitch back in the 3rd inning. A swing and a miss.
Wow, he blew that by him.
Yes, he did. Woo. Casale, numbers not good for the season, but he's better than a .400 hitter here in June. Hank Conger got the start last night behind the dish. That's in there for strike 2. A ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Fiers last worked on Monday with 5 1/3 against Texas. Gave up 4 runs in that one. Swing and a miss. Mike Fiers takes him down 1, 2, 3 in the 5th. We're tied at 1. Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jack in the Box, the Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack is back. Taste it before it's gone at Jack in the Box. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, donating $100 for each Astros home run and $200 for each Correa home run to Houston Children's Charities. Now back here at the Trop. Been a rainy couple of days here in Florida, and Jason Castro leads it off. Castro takes ball 1. Chris Archer cruised through the first 3 innings. Astros jumped on him to end a scoreless streak against Houston at 19 innings. Having trouble finding the zone, falls behind 2-0. We talked about it earlier for Archer. You see 0 for 1 with a strikeout for Castro.
Let's hope he gets wild in the zone with the fastball. There it was.
There's 3 career complete game shutouts, and 2 have come against Houston. That's how you run scoreless streaks to 19 innings.
That is very true.
Swing and a miss there. Evens the count at 2-2. What are the numbers we were looking at earlier? Not to inundate you with numbers, but when Archer's ahead in the count, opponent's hitting about 150. When he's behind in the count, opponent's hitting 380.
Yeah, that's a big jump.
Right at 300 when it's even in the count. And there is strike 3. Put a wrinkle in that one, and Castro goes down looking.
Academy Sports and Outdoors and the Houston Astros are hitting home runs for Houston, benefiting Houston Children's Charity. Best home run season by an Astros outfielder. Doggy.
Jamie was good.
Richard Hidalgo. It was a first year in Minute Maid Park, wasn't it? Launched 44 bombs.
He was amazing. There's a swing and a miss from Springer.
There's a home run swing right there.
Archer's punched out 6. Springer had that leadoff single. First hit of the game came to lead off the 4th inning. Flied out in his first at bat. Swing and a miss there. It's 0-2. He's had 2 really good swings. Remember, he hit that ball, the bullet to right field. Souza made the diving catch on, or not diving, but running catch on that line drive to start the game.
Yeah, that ball was smoked.
Steven Souza, first 2 outs of this game, made outstanding plays back in the first inning. The 0-2 to George. Springer hits it on the ground. Wide at third base.
What's amazing to me is how Tampa Bay positions himself in the outfield against some of the Astros. Look at how deep these guys are playing. They're playing no doubles against George Springer, basically. They want to keep that ball in front.
Dickerson in left almost looked like he was on the warning track a couple of times yesterday.
It did.
Ooh, that's inside.
Yeah, that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, 96, and you're
up around the neck.
Yeah, especially if you're thinking, if you're guessing slider away.
And George isn't one of those guys that really dives into the plate. Still has good plate coverage, but this one up underneath the chin. All right, shake it off. See if Archer in that 0-2 count, throwing that ball right there, is trying to set up the slider away.
What I was thinking, 1-2. Instead, Springer hits this one high, and center fielder makes the play. Desmond Jennings makes the put out. Let's go down to Julia.
Thanks, guys. On Chris Archer before the game was told that the approach there was to hunt that fastball early because they're trying to stay away from that put away slider that's been so good. It's just really tough when you know it's coming. Heard from the hitting coaches, it looks like that fastball for so long, hard to pick it up, and then how hard it is, how it dives across the plate. It's just really tough to hit for anyone.
That's really, that's the best way to describe it, right, Julia, is that fact that you want to hit a hitter's pitch rather than a pitcher's pitch. He's ahead in the count. It's going to be pitcher's pitches. I'm trying to figure out exactly what happened down at the plate, as is Dallas Keuchel. Plate umpire came around. He was giving somebody a little time to get their bearings. Keuchel will pitch tomorrow against Matt Moore in a matchup of a couple of left-handers. Archer wanted that call, didn't get it, 1-0. A strange number with Archer, too, is as Marwin gets in from the left side, you know, lefties are hitting 240 against Archer. Righties defying logic, hitting 36 points higher coming into this game, hitting 276. Marwin takes ball 2, 2-0.
And that is pretty amazing because that slider that we keep talking about is the best pitch for Chris Archer. Very effective. He's able to throw it down and in to left-handed hitters and keep it away from right-handers. But I think those numbers that we saw previously with that him pitching behind so often has forced him to throw that fastball, and that's what happens. It gets hit.
It gets laced into right field, and Marwin is on with a 2-out single.
And that was a 2-0 count where he had to throw the fastball. Pretty good pitch to hit. Right down the middle.
There's not many pitchers are going to be making a living there.
He's happy he kept it in the park. Yep. Marlins taking some good swings off Archer today, too.
A couple of good cuts last night as well. And again, that would be a bat A.J. Hinch obviously would love to have come around right now. He was so hot coming out of spring training. Now here's Jose Altuve, driven in the only run of the game with that sacrifice fly. He's back after a couple of singles by Springer and Gonzalez back in the 4th inning. Three straight multi-hit games. You could make the argument he's as tough and out right now as there is in baseball.
Is that ridiculous number, 439? He's been hitting. It's amazing.
Look at this. Archer ducked his head down. Marwin's going to go to third. Here's the throw. They cut it off. And the Astros with first and third and 2 outs. Aggressive base running by Marwin Gonzalez. And Jose Altuve coming up with the knock there. And he's even got a little wry smile on his face.
I mean, I'm sure he took a peek, or at least he seems like one of those guys. You always hear stories about Tony Gwynn kind of checking out where the infielders are at, where he could try and redirect that baseball. I guarantee you Jose Altuve is one of those guys that recognizes when they're moving on him a little bit, maybe shifting him, and understanding he has a slider away, not trying to do too much, just shoot it through that hole, take the base hit, keep this, keep the train moving, so to speak.
No one's been on base more than Jose Altuve.
He's really good.
It's Colby Rasmus. There's a swing and a miss. Look at these numbers.
You look at them.
Man, multi-hit games. That is high rent right there. Kinsler, Cano, Beltre, Miggy Cabrera, and Jose Altuve with 250 since the start of the 2012 season.
Yeah, just right in professional hitters underneath those guys.
Colby hits that one, pops it up. Desmond Jennings comes in, makes the play, and that'll retire the side. The Astros get a couple of hits, but leave 2.
The Astros and Rays down here in St. Petersburg, and get a gift for the Astros fan in your life and have your special message become part of Minute Maid Park forever with the Houston Astros commemorative brick paver program. Visit astros.com/bricks for more details.
Back here for the bottom of the 6th inning is the Astros and Rays tied at 1. Top of the order, Logan Forsythe hits this one high in the air to Carlos Gomez. And Gomez makes the play, 1 out. Both of these starting pitchers have been outstanding. Mike Fiers now working in the 6th. Only mistake he's made was to the next man up, Brad Miller. That solo home run, and that's got the Rays on the board.
Yeah, the only reason you say it's a mistake is because it ended up being a home run. It looked like a breaking ball down in the zone, but you got to give credit to Miller for going down there and getting it. Good pitch usage throughout this game, too, for Mike Fiers.
And nothing more than a 17-pitch inning.
We got a 4-pitch 4th inning. He's throwing 10.5 pitches per inning in this game so far.
That's off the plate, 1-1. Brad Miller, the former Seattle Mariner. Astros very familiar with his work in the American League West. Tyler White. Fiers gets over, covers the bag, and gets the out. There's 2 outs.
It's a pretty good play all the way around.
It was.
Not an easy play for Tyler White to get around. Because as a first baseman, you want to try and get around and make that play and get your body in position to give that flip to the pitcher. That was nice. And Fiers had to look back to the inside part of the diamond, try and pick up the baseball and get that foot on the base.
Guessed right.
Giving a little credit to the umpire for staying with him, too.
Astros in search of win number 30 on the season. They're 29-34. Tampa Bay Rays are 28-31. Tampa Bay's won 6 straight over Houston here at Tropicana Field. Here's Evan Longoria. A breaking ball.
Seen too many of those from Mike Fiers. Been heavy on the fastball changeup. Looks like he's throwing a little bit of a cutter in there too. Been effective.
That misses 1-2. High atop Tropicana Field. That pitch is high. Fiers is a big guy, but he's not an overpowering guy. The 2-2 to Longoria. Spoils the pitch there, foul into the seats. Here at Tropicana Field, I would imagine there's some angles where you better be on your game. Ball, ball can get in there in a hurry down both of these lines. The 2-2 again. Longoria will step out. Just did stay alive.
Split. But aggressive with it in 2 strikes. Good location on that 2, keeping it down.
Goria's homered in 5 of his last 7 games. Almost did it again last night.
Tom Hallion wanted him to.
It had been up to him. Hits that one well to left center field. Going back, Rasmus. And it hit something in the roof. Bounces in.
Home run.
It's a home run. So it hit one of the catwalks. That is strange. See where it bounced back in. And Longoria with the home run. He's now homered in 6 of his last 8 games.
And I think it's the last 2 rings. You hit the last 2 rings out in the outfield in fair territory, they will give you that home run.
So it hit the inner of the 2 rings.
Yeah, these
right?
2 is what I'm talking about. I'm thinking it hit somewhere up in that region because that ball was crushed.
Well, that'll make it 2-1 and give the Rays a lead here at the bottom of the 6th inning. Rays have scored both their runs on solo home runs.
4-seam fastball right down the middle on a 2-strike count. Longoria, like you said, the way he's been swinging the bat, didn't miss it.
And you see,
well, Colby almost looked like he was just trying to guess where it might end up because it looked like he lost it, and then all of a sudden it bounces off the rafters here.
And once it gets up here, nearly impossible to see where it really hits. Logan Morrison 0 for 2 with a pair of groundouts.
Really sense some enthusiasm for you calling games in this ballpark.
It's hard to. I can only imagine as a center fielder trying to figure out where the ball is. There's a swing and a miss for Longoria. I beg your pardon, for Logan Morrison. Yeah, but Longoria, the inner of those 2 rings, the one closer to home plate is the one he hit. It's closer to home plate, but it's higher up in the ceiling. Right there. I would imagine when you played here for a season, you saw some things. It was basically defied logic.
It's like playing arena baseball. And it wasn't until recently that they had some of these rules in place too. They had to figure out a whole new ground rule. You know what's funny is you have, when you go into a game and you have that meeting at home plate, you exchange lineup cards. On the back of the home lineup card, there will be ground rules. And it's a novel on the back of some of these cards, especially here at Tropicana Field. Not to mention that turf. I mean, there you get some crazy hops with that dirt cutout, some of the lips between the turf and the dirt.
Now, A.J. Hinch is going to come out and he's going to challenge whether this was a hit by pitch on Logan Morrison. Tom Hallion, the crew chief.
Don't want to have any unnecessary base runners out there if you don't have to.
Absolutely not.
There's a breaking ball that got away from Mike Fiers. Down and in. To me, the initial thought was, the initial view, I'm not sure where that gets Logan Morrison unless it caught a part of that front foot.
And if you're wondering, yes, it's still a hit batsman if the ball hits the ground first.
Watch that front foot. See the dirt pop up, but I'm not sure if a seam catches that front toe. Come on. It's good acting. Present him with the golden Jeter.
I will say this is my first time here in the Trop. It looks worse on television than it does in person.
What?
So what?
This place is funky.
Morrison will stay at first base.
I gave it to him, huh?
But I think you had to be able to rule, since it was ruled as a hit batsman, you had to be able to definitively say that it didn't hit his foot. So that'll bring up a guy that's been as tough out as anybody in this series, and that is Steve Pearce. 336. He's got 3 doubles in the series. Double back in the 4th inning. Had 2 last night.
So you think Tropicana looks better in person
than on television?
Oof.
Be nice. Fires a throw over. Two solo home runs by the Rays. One by Brad Miller in the 3rd inning, and then Evan Longoria just hit his 15th here in the 6th. One of the rings here up above the playing surface. That's inside a ball.
Did you ever think you'd say that in your broadcasting career?
No.
Home run off the rings.
Off the rings. And that's the proper terminology, right? It's the rings. Yeah, they call them the rings.
They're
right?
lettered, I think, A, B, C, D.
The 1-0. That almost hit him. It's 2-0.
Maybe instead of a Star Wars day, they need to break out the Lord of the Rings day.
Oh, yes, he did.
That's what I'm here for. Wait a minute.
There you go.
A couple of bounty hunters mixed in there.
Is that the green? Is that the guys in the green?
Yeah, Boba Fett.
Well, the bobblehead today is Chris Archer in the Stormtroopers gear.
Yep.
So Pierce swings through that one. Again, Fire's trying to limit damage here in this 6th inning. You know, Longoria hit that home run after he had just gotten a piece on a 2-strike pitch before that. How close it is to being able to get out of an inning and then find yourself down 2-1. That's where the Astros find themselves now.
With those 2 home runs for Tampa Bay, they're now sitting at 90. It makes them 3rd in the American League behind Baltimore and Seattle. Astros in 5th position with 77 home runs.
Two to Pierce. Marlins got to come on hard. Throws across. Safe. Hit first. Well, Marlin was playing deep. He knew he had to charge that. He did, but still was not able to get Pierce.
And sometimes as a right-handed hitter, when you reach out like you just saw Stevie Pierce right there, you're kind of leaning towards first base, so you almost have a half-step lead at coming out of that box. And that's what allows Steve Pierce to be safe.
Close play, but he got it right at first. So now runners on 1st and 2nd with 2 outs. One and 0. Rays took a 1-0 lead in the 3rd. Brad Miller a solo home run. They've gotten a solo home run here in the 6th inning. After the Astros tied it on a sacrifice fly by Jose Altuve. 2 on, 2 out. 2-0.
Really like to see Fires get out of this inning right now. Limit that damage.
Corey Dickerson 0 for 2. He lined out to Jose Altuve back in the 4th inning. That one popped up on the infield. Tyler White and Altuve. It'll be Altuve, and that'll retire the side. But the Rays take the lead on a Longoria home run. It's 2-1. On this day in 1990, Nolan Ryan, his 6th career no-hitter, becomes the oldest man in Major League history at the age of 43 to throw a no-no. John Russell was catching him that day, and it was the first time he had ever caught Nolan. The amazing thing about the 4 no-hitters, Nolan threw 7 no-hitters to 7 different catchers.
That's incredible.
It was also on this day in 1938 that Johnny Vandermeer threw the first of his back-to-back no-hitters for the Cincinnati Reds. That's upstairs the ball to start things off here in the 7th inning.
It's good stuff. It doesn't get old watching him do that.
And the fact that for 27 seasons did it the same way.
What's crazy is that was his 6th no-hitter, making him the oldest pitcher to throw a no-hitter, yet he did it again. He had one more in the tank.
Got Toronto, yeah. 2-0 to Gaddis. Way out front of that one. A 2-0 changeup.
Slider.
2 balls and a strike. That one hit to right. Souza coming over and makes a sliding catch on a knee in foul territory, and there's 1 out. How about this? June 11, 2009. Just calling Captain Walkoff.
Take that, Cubbies.
Jeff Blum. How about that? Just make it a habit. That was back-to-back days.
Accosted. That was, yeah, you're right. That's what was crazy. The night before against the Washington Nationals, walked them off with a knock, and then just a little late lightning against the Cubs again.
I think I remember that because I didn't want to go to extra innings because I wanted to beat traffic to get
That's
home.
why I want to be in the box, because I felt the same way. Like, let's go home, boys. Those are such great feelings.
I'll bet.
Good times.
Here's Balbuena with 1 out. That's off the plate. 1-1. Chris Archer working here in the 7th inning. Giving up 1 run on 4 hits and 6 1/3. There's a breaking ball in there. Slider in for a strike. 1-2. Astros lost a 1-run game last night. Trail by 1 tonight. One, 2 in the dirt. 2-2. Two pitch to Balbuena. He's gotten right back in it, and count goes full at 3-2. Kevin Cash's team has struggled here at Tropicana Field. They have not had a winning homestand this season. Balbuena fouls that one off on the left side.
Well, and they're picking a heck of a time to have the Astros come in here. Talked about how this is going to be a rough road trip. Got off to a rough start, 1-3 in Texas. Now these bats have gone dormant. Chris Archer doing what he does against the Houston Astros. He had great numbers coming in, continuing to pile them up.
Tampa has pitched well against Houston. Here's the pitch. Strike 3 called. There's 2 away.
Treat your employees, host clients, or celebrate a special occasion with an Astros luxury suite. Create an experience your group is sure to remember by calling 1-877-9-ASTROS and reserving your luxury suite today.
That's the way you do it right there.
That's big time.
2 outs here in the 7th.
Street cred will go way up if you do that.
Rays have held the Astros to 3 runs or fewer.
Go ball.
In the last 13 games. This one hit deep to center field, and it's gone. Carlos Gomez ties it in a hurry, a 2-out blast, and we're tied at 2.
Oh, one of those hard swings connected. It was a slider flat out over the plate. Carlos Gomez took the cue. He had been getting beat early in counts all game long from Chris Archer with first pitch sliders. Here he squares this one up and pummels it to center field.
Third home run for Gomez ties the game. Here's Tyler White. Swing and a miss, 0-1.
It's not a normal reaction on a home run.
He's fired up. A good reason. Those solo home runs, the order of the evening. Both Tampa runs have come via the solo home run. Miller and Longoria, and Carlos Gomez getting half of that back with one swing. How's that for extension?
Well, it's just good to see him get the barrel on it. Seeing that swing so often. Archer upset with himself because he knew that slider hung out over the plate.
Tyler White. And Logan Morrison makes the play to retire the side, but the Astros get a solo home run from Carlos Gomez to tie it at 2. We go to the 7th inning stretch.
Steady Stroh poll. We asked you how many hits will Altuve get in his career. 3,000 plus gets the most votes. And a lot of you out there think he's going to break King's record.
Did you just giggle at them for voting that way?
Give us the numbers again, please.
32% says he's going for the history.
Tell you what, I'd love to witness it. I just don't think it's in the realm of reality. 176 hits for the next 19 seasons. Woo!
And Altuve's 45.
Yeah, still going after it.
180 knocks that year.
You're calling it.
I'm calling it.
Are we going to be here calling it?
It wouldn't be the first time that Jose Altuve has defied the odds.
That is a very good point.
That's in the dirt, 1-1.
There you go. Right now he's at every 700 plate appearances. He is getting 199 hits.
Crazy.
12 hits better than the King himself.
Steven Souza 1 for 2 with a double in the second inning.
just to be mentioned in the same breath with that guy. It's incredible.
The 1-2 to Souza. Hung up a little bit and hoping to hang up for Colby Rasmussen. It does.
Nice play.
Fires might have gotten away with one there.
Ball not hit very hard, but Colby Rasmus did a good job of staying with it. Not easy to do. You can tell he was kind of in between that dive and standing up and making that play, much to the delight of Mike Fiers.
Number 8 hitter Desmond Jennings with one out here. Lifts this one on the right side. Springer a few steps in, and there's 2 outs. Mike Fiers love to have a quick 7th inning, get his team back in that dugout.
This is his 80th pitch. 2 outs in the 7th here. Doing a great job tonight.
Now, both of these starting pitchers have been on top of their game. There's Casale. The catcher is 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch in the 3rd and then struck out in the 5th. Backs away from that one. 73% first pitch strikes. It's a good number. 2-0. Reached for that one, fouled it off to the right side. Fires one of his best starts of the season. 2 outs here in the 7th. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs. That ball's hit deep. Center field. Gomez back, makes the play. A running catch for Carlos Gomez to end the 7th in a 2-2 game. Houston Astros baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Back here at Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, 2-5-0 for the Astros, 2-5-0 for the Rays. Chris Archer, 7 strong innings, allowing those 2 earned runs on 5 hits. He has struck out 7 for the American League leader in strikeouts with 95. And he will face Jason Castro to lead off here in the 8th. Castro 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. That's out of the zone, ball 1. Castro homered last night, his 5th home run of the season. 2-0. Archer stared in at that and snatched at the baseball. Archer calling Casale out. He wants to talk with him.
He might be asking him what's wrong with Dan Bellino. He wanted this pitch. Let's see where it is. Catching that inside corner. Just barely, but not enough for Dan Bellino, the home plate umpire. Clearly a ball.
Clearly. The 2-0. 2-1. Castro leading off here in the 8th.
Castro mad at himself, expanded the zone a little bit right there, getting up out of the zone in that 2-0 count.
Two and 2. Archer had put together 19 consecutive scoreless innings against the Astros before Houston was able to break through with a run in the 4th inning. He was perfect through the first 3 innings. Tampa's gotten both of their runs on solo home runs. Miller and Longoria. Strike 3 called.
Archer didn't hit his spot or the location he was aiming for, but still a pitch down in the zone over the plate. See Casale set up on that outside corner, reaches across, and Bellino has a good look at it.
Back to the top of the order, and George Springer. Springer lined out to right to start the game. Singled and scored in the 4th, and then flied out to center field in the 6th inning. The 0-1. That in under his hands, 0-2. Luke Gregerson warming for the Astros. The 0-2. 1-2.
.113 pitches for Chris Archer. Still just as animated as he was when he threw the first one.
And throwing as hard as he did in the first inning. 2-2. Castro hits that one to Brad Miller. Scoops, throws. Good play by Logan Morrison. Is able to scoop it out of the dirt. And now there's 2 outs. I'll bring up Marwin, who's had as good a swings as anybody in this game. You know, Marwin Gonzalez had a long conversation after that inning. Who was it? It was back in the 6th inning. After having a couple of hits after the inning ended, he had a long conversation with Dan Bellino, the home plate umpire.
And when he got done with that conversation, A.J. Hinch had a conversation with Dan also behind home plate.
It did not look like either side was angry or making a really a dramatic point, but it was a long conversation. Strike one. .117th pitch from Chris Archer. Marwin able to pull the bat back. It's 1-1. Marwin's laughing.
Well, Archer had something to say about him squaring around right there.
Young Astro fans taking this one in.
So Archer was looking at Marwin going, man, you've already hit 2 line drives off me for base hits. What are you doing?
And make it 3. This time he goes the opposite way. A line drive base hit. And the Astros have a man aboard with 2 outs. And it brings up Jose Altuve, and here comes Kevin Cash.
Playing to Win will be brought to you by Toyota Tundra. You can look at Pete Rose right there. All-time hits leader, 24 seasons, 4,256.
Eric Schauf, former Astros second baseman Tommy Helms was the first base coach that day.
You know who was catching that game?
It was Bruce Bochy.
Boom. Nice call. Young Pete Rose right there. That's where it all began. Charlie Hustle getting airborne.
You know how people are talked about as being hot dogs now, the way they play the game sometimes? Well, they all say, well, they didn't do it back in the old days. Well, Pete Rose was thought of as
oh, yeah. He didn't mind the attention, did he?
A little flair.
Well, I guess you could when you're raking out that many hits on a consistent basis. But the thing you got to appreciate is how he hustled on a daily basis. Because it's one of those things, once you start doing things like that, you better continue to do things like that throughout your career. Some amazing numbers. Played 160-plus games a season 10 times.
Well, what a job by Chris Archer. Yeah, 42.56. I'd say it's a big number. Biggest one ever.
Averaged over 24 seasons, 177 hits per season was the average. Yikes.
And that's taken into consideration. He was a player manager at the end of his career, and playing sparingly. So Jose Altuve will be facing Erasmo Ramirez. Chris Archer's day is done. He was spectacular.
That young man Altuve chasing a massive number in baseball history.
Astros facing Erasmo Ramirez for the second time in as many days.
You know what doesn't get talked about?
What's that?
Ichiro.
I know. He's
a lot of people in Japan talk about it because they're combining his Japanese numbers with his American numbers. And last I checked, I'm not sure what it is now, but he was like 4 or 5 hits away from tying that number 4,256 between Japan and the United States.
And he's only about 20 away from 3,000. Unless I'm forgetting someone, doing this off the top of my head, Beltre's going to get there. He's about 170 away. But besides
isn't slowing down at all.
Besides that, that's one of those numbers that's going to be hard to get to, obviously. Jose Altuve steps in with Marwin Gonzalez at first base. Erasmo Ramirez comes in to pitch. He worked last night as well.
Did a good job last night, too. Went an inning and 2/3, 2 hits, 0 runs, 0 walks, and a strikeout. Marwin swinging a hot bat on this road trip.
3 for 4 today. Erasmo Ramirez makes his 27th appearance. And Altuve looking for some 2-out hitting here. That's in there for a strike. It's 0-2. A .275 hitter with 2 strikes. See what he can do here. Marwin goes, and he'll be safe. Gets into scoring position, and it's 1-2.
Not a bad idea
at all. Great thing about it, you get your runner in scoring position. Obviously, if you throw out Marwin, which you don't want to have happen, you've got Altuve leading off in the 9th inning.
This worked out great.
Yes, it did.
Look at Altuve, those eyes.
He's 1 for 2 with the sacrifice fly and an RBI. Rastro, he wants to talk with Kurt Casale. Make sure they're on the same page.
Now that we have a chance with the runner in scoring position, we'll look at our Lexus defensive rankings. Again, the numbers right here on the left will be statistical. That red light, green light, yellow light that you see is just my opinion, and I think they're going to challenge Dickerson and Jennings out there. Souza's got a little bit better arm.
1-2 to Altuve, and a hitting. Now 2 runners on for Rasmus. He's got that pad on the tricep, but I still think that got more than that pad.
Yeah, it's going to jar that thing a little bit. It's not a Craig Biggio pad by any means, but still, get hit by a pitch, it's never comfortable. He does have that pad that Kevin is talking about, and you can see it dangling out there right on it, but still, it's not a heavily padded, just a little bit of plastic in between him and that tricep of his.
The Astros trying to stir some things up here after 2 outs.
I'm not going to try and stir things up. I'm sure Erasmo Ramirez wasn't too upset in hitting Altuve in that situation.
Not at all. By no means was that what he was trying to do, but at the same time.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to miss in off the plate. If I hit him, so what?
.333 hitter against Ramirez. The 1-0 to Rasmus. 2-0.
Here we go. Good hitters count.
Colby 0 for 3. Flied out in both of his last 2 at-bats. Astros and Rays in a 2-2 game in the top of the 8th inning. Swung through that one. Inside 3-1. Went from a good hitter's count to now a great hitter's count.
Again, we saw in a 2-0 count, it looked like maybe a changeup away. I wonder if this caught any part of the plate. Yeah.
Yep. That's a.
But Casale caught that one so badly, took it out of the zone.
He walked and the bases are loaded for Gaddis.
See the arm slow down.
And Jim Hickey's probably going to be talking about just that. Those conversations, and you see, you were in the middle of those as well while not pitching. Obviously, you were standing right where Evan Longoria was, many of those conversations. It's more about the power of positive thinking, putting positive thoughts in his head, not necessarily talking about what he's not doing, but telling him what he should be.
Yeah, you can see that little tap on the forehead from Ramirez saying, lock it back in, because that's exactly what's going on. Hickey out there, quality pitching coach, has had great pitchers come through this organization while he's been here. But yeah, it's encouragement. It's get back to your game plan. Remember what we're trying to do. Reminding him that Evan Gaddis is stepping up to the plate now. Don't worry about the guys on the base pads because you've got 2 outs and the only guy that matters is that guy at the plate.
Gaddis swinging a miss, 0-1. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Astros had 2 outs and nobody on. Marwin a solid single. Altuve was hit by a pitch. And Colby Rasmus walked and leads away from first base. And that ball gets away. Marwin scores, and the Astros take a 3-2 lead.
How about that?
Houston taking advantage of a break, and again.
I mean, anybody in that dugout that's going to complain about not getting a big hit, they'll take a leading run any way they can. This slider from Ramirez is buried, and Casale, unable to get the entire body in front of it, sneaks past that right side just far enough away to allow Marwin and everybody else to advance 90 feet.
So now runners at second and third, and the Astros on top.
Add on. That is what Gaddis is thinking right here. Get a pitch to add on.
Gaddis pops this one up on the infield. It's caught by Longoria, but the Astros take advantage of a wild pitch. Marwin Gonzalez puts the Astros on top, 3-2.
Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices with MLB.tv Premium, which includes a free subscription to At Bat Premium. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. The Astros going to their bullpen. Luke Gregson on the mound yesterday, going to Phillies and Giles, and this was after Lance McCullers started the game, so a lot of heat coming out of that bullpen. Those guys reaching 98, 99 miles an hour, and AJ said the reason there yesterday when the team battled their way back into that game, he wanted those big strikeout guys, get those guys to blow that fastball right by the Rays. That's exactly what happened. The strikeouts are definitely starting to mount up, and it's because guys like Giles getting it together, being more dominant in Felice.
Think about this, Jules, that out of the last 77 innings out of the bullpen, 99 strikeouts. There's 77 innings.
It's getting it done.
And Luke Gregerson head of the count 0-2.
Well, what we saw yesterday coming out of that bullpen is uncharacteristic. That fuel, that 95+ mile-an-hour arms between Giles and Feliz. But would anybody else be pitching in this ball game on Star Wars Day other than Luke Gregerson?
2/3 scoreless Tuesday against Texas.
You're loving the Star Wars stuff, aren't you?
I'm not going to be an enabler for you. 2-2.
Sound like a lot of people in my life.
Astros took the lead in the top half of the inning. Marwin Gonzalez scoring on a wild pitch. Missed outside a ball. Logan Forsythe 0 for 3. Bats here in the 8th inning. Gregerson got ahead in the count, 0-2. Now it's 3-2. Full count offering. Swing and a miss, and he got him. Well, since May 1st, look at this. Second in the league at 207. The 236 ERA is the best. Strikeouts the best. On base percentage, slugging percentage, and the whip.
Some dominance.
Strike one. Brad Miller came up with the first run of the game, the first hit of the game. Solo home run put Tampa on top. Swing and a miss. Well, for a guy who's been locked in so far, he was a little off balance in these first two swings.
Well, it's pretty impressive how much movement Gregerson can create with a 91-mile-an-hour sinker. You don't see that too often.
Go to Miller, fouled off. (3-2). Astros on top. 3-6-0. The Astros have left 5. 2-5-0. The Rays have left 4. Just missed there. 1-2. Talk about your high leverage situations. You've got one here. Luke Gregerson on in the 8th. A 1-run game. Hit right at Altuve. Down to a knee. There's 2 outs in the 8th. '29th appearance for Luke. Righties hitting just 143. He's been really good against the Rays in those 2 games in 2015. He'll face a tough cookie here. Evan Longoria. Longoria hit his 15th home run of the season earlier in this game. It is 6th in the last 8 games. Didn't go. But Fagan, the first base umpire, palms down. 2-0. Nasty slider there. And the ball got away from Gregerson when he threw it back. And I'm curious to pick your brain on this one. If you get into Gregerson's cap just a little bit right now, and you got a guy that's swinging such a hot bat like Longoria. You obviously look at this thing. Whipple ball, exactly. Yeah, you got a guy like Longoria who's swinging the bat as well as he is. Obviously, you don't want to put the tying run on base, but at the same time, got to be really careful here, don't you? Longoria hits this one on the right side. If it stays in play, Tyler White over and makes the play, and the Rays go down in the 8th. We go to the 9th inning. The Astros looking for some insurance and to play a little add-on. It's 3-2 Houston. Bay Rays trying to snap a 6-game losing streak here at Tropicana Field. Kevin Eschenfelder, Jeff Blum upstairs. Julian Morales down on the field. As these Astro fans finally looking for something to cheer about here in this building. Romero comes in to pitch for the Tampa Bay Rays here in the ninth. He'll face the left-hander. Beg your pardon, Stana Eveland, making his 20th appearance. Outside a ball. Those left-handers are.
What's that?
Had the wrong left-hander. Finally got it right.
Yeah, they've actually got 3 down their bullpen compared to what the Astros are working with. Just Tony Sipp down there. They make it easy on us.
Speaking of left-handers, Dallas Keuchel will get the ball tomorrow. Staying with that theme, left-handed hitting Luis Valbuena leads off in the 9th inning. Here's the 2-0. That's in there for a strike.
Looked like a tough pitch to hit.
That did. Three balls and a strike. Chris Archer started today for the Tampa Bay Rays. Went 7 2/3, gave up 3 earned runs on 6 hits. Struck out 8. Well, Mike Fiers was money as well. Going 7 strong. 5 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. The 3-1. That is hit well to right. Going back, looking up, it is gone. A home run, and the Astros take a 4-2 lead in the 9th.
Very nice, very nice. Good start to this 9th inning. Get those insurance runs in. Be fun to look back at that swing.
Lefty on lefty for Luis Valbuena.
Destruction right here. Talked about Valbuena. He likes to get around that baseball. Look at the location on this. Fastball on that outer third. Gets that barrel on the outside of it. Yanks it down the right field side of the field. Just enough to sneak it into the stands for that solo jack. Beautiful.
You and Julia talked about just how important having that Luis Valbuena bat heating up, and stays hot here. It gives the Astros a 4-2 lead. We'll take a break. Things here in the 9th, and the Astros take a 4-2 lead. Valbuena didn't hit his first home run until May 7th. Carlos Gomez, who's homered in the game.
He had 6 in that month of May.
Tyler Sturdivant is in to pitch for the Rays.
Now that bat has been heating up for Luis Valbuena. That is good to see, too. You love insurance runs if you're the Houston Astros. More the better.
It's his first home run off a lefty this season.
Just as we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. It's got to be that blast from Luis Valbuena, giving some insurance run to that Astros bullpen that's been pitching so well. Cleveland didn't have enough on that heater to get it past Valbuena, who gets the head out early. Some low laser to right. We'll see that bat going strong for Luis.
Big run there. We'll see how it plays out. Anytime you can play some add-on in the ninth. Here's Tyler White. That one cracked to center field. And Desmond Jennings, right in his steps, makes the play. 2 outs here in the ninth. And here's Jason Castro. Tough day for Castro. 0 for 3 with 3 punch-outs. Tyler Sturdivant delivers 1-0. Foul back. 1 ball and 1 strike.
A new left fielder in the game. Mike Matuk in left. Carlos Gomez is reenacting that Bobby hit. I'm not sure how else to call that.
That just misses. 2-1. Two balls, 1 strike. 2 outs in the ninth. 2-2. Astros looking to win here for the first time since June of 2014. The 2-2 outside, 3-2. Waiting in the wings. The 3-2 foul back. Good ball games on this road trip. Astros trying to end up on the right end of this one. Again, fouled back. Castro stays alive, 3-2.
Another good fastball to hit. Sometimes I feel that that bat angle comes in a little too steep for Jason Castro. Therefore, kind of gets on the inside part of the baseball. Saw him yesterday on a changeup get that head out nicely for that home run, though.
That one ripped.
There we
Foul.
go. That's what I'm talking about.
They talk about it. You can watch it, especially in slow motion. If the flat swing, when he's good, the swing is flat. Stays in the strike zone longer. Four, 5, 6 due up in the bottom of the ninth. That one fouled back. Gives you an idea. A.J. Hinch had to breathe a little easier knowing that you got Evan Longoria out of the way to end the 8th inning.
I agree. especially when it was a one-run game, because that one swing from Longoria can tie it up. But now he's got some insurance after that Valbuena home run. Will Harris getting loose down in that Astros bullpen. Tell you what, the more fastballs Castro sees, the better opportunity he has to drive one.
He's in no hurry to get to the bottom of the ninth inning. Three balls, two strikes. Luis Valbueno's solo home run made it a 4-2 game here in the ninth. He walked him. That'll bring up the top of the order, George Springer.
Castro just waited him out. Had some fastballs to hit in that count, just fouled him off, and then Sturdivant finally gave in and left one out of the zone, put him on first.
He is a walk-drawing machine. Best among catchers. It's in there for a strike. George Springer's had some good cuts today. Hit a bullet to right field to start this game. And singled and scored in the fourth. You got to keep Jason Castro close.
Yeah, you never know. Be off to the races with a guy like Springer at the plate.
He stole a base.
We're not laughing at you, Jason. I apologize. I'm not just. It's an interesting situation to pick off when you've got George Springer at the plate.
One and 0. Springer gets ahead in the count. I still believe that there's times when pitchers throw over just because they're not ready to throw the
No,
pitch.
that is completely true. Or maybe they get a sign they don't feel comfortable with it. Instead of stepping off, they just pick over.
One and two. Right there at the top of the zone.
Yeah, I was just lucky it actually stayed in. I think if that ball had crept out over the plate, out middle to outer third, I think George would have put a good swing on it.
Hit down the right side, foul, and I would say it'd make the seats, but I don't know exactly what it made down there. This is the picnic area.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure.
A lot of things going on here in this ballpark. You got live rays swimming in right center field. One ball, two strikes, two outs in the top of the ninth. Castro fouls that one back.
Kind of pitching backwards to George. Sliders early in the count now, trying to beat him with fastballs and two-strike count. That's why you're seeing that ball get a little bit deeper than normal on George.
Hit to Longoria. He'll take the short route and we'll go to the bottom of the ninth. Will Harris on to pitch the bottom of the ninth. The Astros leading 4-2. Astros leading 4-2. Who was that again?
Come on, Darth Maul.
Why did he have to get
One
so
of the
close
Sith
to me?
Lords.
Personal space.
I think he smelled fear.
There's a Chris Archer bobblehead on Star Wars Day here in St. Pete.
Astros using the force to drive the ball out of the ballpark here. Yeah, Chewbacca Mom here threw out that first pitch.
She did a great job, too.
She actually threw a pretty good pitch.
Yeah.
Can't leave that right foot back. You gotta step through with that.
You got a friend.
See, there we go. There's our bobblehead.
Some reverse psychology.
See,
Force is strong with that one.
I have no idea what I'm doing.
Will the Thrill is on for the Houston Astros.
27 appearances, 26 straight scoreless. Gave up the run in New York in his first appearance. Hasn't given up one since. He has a 2-run lead here, trying to close it out. 2 for 2 in save opportunities. That misses high away a ball. Logan Morrison leading it off here in the bottom of the 9th inning. 0 for 2 for him, hit by a pitch back in the 6th inning. 240 is the average for the season.
And on this Rays roster, Logan Morrison played with Seattle, so he has some familiarity with what Will Harris is going to bring to the plate. Big first out.
Harris falls behind 2-0. The 2-0. 3-0.
Will Harris has that natural cut to it.
26 1/3 scoreless innings. The longest scoreless inning streak in the majors this season. Ball 4. He walked him on 4 pitches. That'll bring the tying run to the plate in Steve Pearce. Concerned eye there.
It just seems that nothing comes easy for the Houston Astros. There's got to be some kind of drama involved in the whole situation, no matter who's out there, what the situation is. Will Harris, one of the more reliable pitchers in all of baseball.
And Pearce bats with 5 hits so far in the series. Missed ball 1. It's 5 straight out of the zone. The last 28 games the Astros have played, 20 of those 28 have been decided by 2 runs or less.
I read those same numbers, and they're mind-blowing. That'll test the stress of a ball club, no matter who they are.
2-run game here. Strike 1, 1-1. At 93 miles per hour.
I hope that's the strike that Will Harris needed to continue that barrage in the strike zone that he's been so effective with that cut fastball.
The 1-1. And a weak swing by Pearce. I promise you this, he wasn't guessing off speed.
When Will Harris first showed up with the Astros, had a chance to talk to him. When we saw some breaking balls early on in his career with the Astros, really buries that breaking ball, and he was almost joking about it, but he understood that every time that sign was put down, he was going to throw that curveball as hard as he possibly could, and said that it does end up in the dirt quite a bit.
There's a base hit in the left field, and the Rays have something going in the bottom of the 9th. Runners at first and second with nobody out. That
breaking ball stayed in the zone. Marwin was pulled over there, just still unable to get to it. Would have been a tough play to get Logan Morrison at second base.
Yeah, I think even if he stops that, I'm not sure he gets him at second or even attempts a throw to second base. Now AJ out there.
It's us against the world, boys. That is what AJ Hinch is saying right now. Forget what has just happened. Go out there, find a way to get outs.
So Mikey Matuk comes to the plate here, and I have a pretty good feeling that Mikey Matuk and the man on the mound, Will Harris, have a history, both coming from LSU. Matuk from Lafayette, Louisiana. He had come in as a defensive replacement in the top of the inning. Matuk looking to bunt here, and that's in for a strike. First round pick, 31st overall pick of the Rays a couple of years ago. Wants to bunt again, and it's 0-2.
Tell you what, bunting is awful, but it's a necessary evil in this game. But right now, Matuk is having an extremely tough time, because I guarantee you, with his nose out over the plate and a guy throwing 93 with cut, he's having a tough time judging if that ball is going to stay in the strike zone, and it's extremely tough to bunt a pitch that's moving that late.
The 0-2 in the dirt. A good block by Castro.
Yes, it was.
That ball kicks away instead of being right there at his feet. You got two runners moving into scoring position. Wow, and he did it again. 2-2.
Tell Harris is a little conscious about that base that he gave up to Steve Pearce on that breaking ball. Doesn't want to do that in this situation. Matuk, he wants to put him away.
So now 3 balls and 2 strikes.
And just a note too, Steve Pearce is out of the game. Taylor Motter is now running at first base.
So he's at first, Motter's at first. Morrison is at second, and they walk him. The bases are loaded with nobody out.
Well, here we go. We're on the roller coaster ride called Houston Astros baseball. This is amazing.
A walk, a single, and a walk. And the bases are loaded in the bottom of the ninth.
Again, you've got a 2-run lead, bases loaded, nobody out. A ground ball in the middle of the infield. There's an opportunity to exchange a run for 2 outs. If I had to guess, the corners might be playing a little bit in. Valbuena's talking to his bench right now, trying to figure out where they want him to play.
Game 4 of the ALDS is the only time that Harris in his career has given up 2 hits in an inning. Giving up 1 here, and Souza swings through strike 1. Bases loaded, nobody out.
How about Matuk going from an 0-2 count to a walk?
Steven Souza 1 for 3. 0-2.
I'm really glad that they're checking those check swings, because Bellino does not want to make those calls. He is deferring every time.
From up here,
I thought it was pretty clear on this
I thought so too, and that's why. Hit in the air to center field. Gomez makes the catch. Both runners will advance. The scoreless streak is over. And we got a one-run game with a runner at third and less than 2 outs.
How big is that Luis Valbuena home run look right now? You've got 1 out, first and third. Ground ball in the infield will hopefully end this. Jennings actually does run pretty well. There's all kinds of decisions to be made. You're in a part of this batting order for Kevin Cash.
And you know, to Gomez's credit on that play, he got it in quickly enough to make sure he kept the double play in order. Keep the runner at first base in Corey Dickerson. I beg your pardon, in Matuk. So Pierce is at third. He moves up. That's in there for a strike.
I was actually a little surprised not to see Jennings turning around, maybe to use that safety squeeze with that first and third situation where we've seen so often with the bunt going towards first base to get that runner in. But Cash might be playing for the big inning.
I said Pierce at third. It's Taylor Motter at third who has come in as the pinch runner. So Motter leads away from third. Matuk at first. Desmond Jennings the batter. One ball and one strike.
Look at the Astros Lexus defensive ratings. Pretty good outfielders. All of them get to the baseball very good. Colby, strong arm, accurate. George Springer, same thing, strong and accurate. The only thing is with Carlos Gomez for me is sometimes we've seen an erratic arm with the delivery. Gets pretty good velocity on it.
2-1. This will be the 21st pitch of the 9th inning. Astros took a 4-2 lead to the 9th. Will Harris giving up his first run since his first appearance of the season back in New York. Two, make it 3-1.
How about the location on these pitches? Will Harris just not finishing them.
Giles starting to warm up. Oh, talk about not finishing. A lot of them at the top of the zone. There's a weak swing, and it's 3-2.
Well, that's the first pitch that Jennings has seen anywhere down in the zone. Probably got a little excited. Tell you what, a firm ground ball to anybody on this infield. They're going to try and turn that double play.
Motter leads away from third. Matuk at first. The 3-2 pitch to Jennings. Hit up the middle. Altuve. There's one. The throw over. Got him, double play, and the Astros win it.
I love it. Will Harris deserves to be excited. Got himself in a big-time jam. Still understanding that he had to execute some pitches, work back down in the count. That good slider gets it off the end of the bat from Jennings, and credit Altuve. Turning that double play, a good quick exchange up the middle. Game over. That was beautiful and huge for the Houston Astros.
You know, this ball wasn't hit that hard. Broke the bat. It wasn't.
Well,
with him running,
we've actually had a chance to watch Marwin play a lot of positions around the infield. And Ash and I have actually talked quite a bit about Marwin's strong arm. You don't get to see it that often because he doesn't have to use it that often. But right here, you saw a scud on that right shoulder of Marwin Gonzalez to turn that double play.
And Will Harris says, you better believe it. Now 3 for 3 in save opportunities. Road wasn't smooth, But they reach their destination, and the Astros snap a 6-game losing streak here at Tropicana Field. The final, Astros 4, Tampa Bay 3.